Right now, Governor Tim Walz and Senator J.D. Vance prepare to debate what local voters had to say ahead of this televised event. Plus, a baseball icon passes away. Later in sports, we'll have more on the life and legacy of Pete Rose and empowering local fathers. What challenges are impacting dads across the state? It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Millions of Americans will sit down to watch the two main vice presidential candidates debate tomorrow night, but will what they see when they turn on the TV really matter? Our Braden Ross set out to find out.
Tuesday night, many Americans will be introduced to J.D. Vance and Tim Walz for the first time through their TV screens. But will this debate really impact the election? And will people even watch? Did you know the vice presidential debate was happening tomorrow night? Are you going to watch?
I actually did not.
Let's have a good debate.
Almost 70 million viewers watched Kamala Harris and Donald Trump duke it out on the debate stage last month. But will their running mates be able to get people to tune in?
I'm definitely going to watch. I think it's obviously important to watch.
I don't have plans to watch, but it's something that I would definitely look at highlights of afterwards.
Political expert Brandon Scholes says people shouldn't be so quick to change the channel.
This debate could provide something because you have two very entertaining candidates as vice president.
Walz calls Vance weird a lot, so it could be interesting if anything happens.
Okay, entertaining is one thing, but will their performances actually change the outcome of the election?
People definitely look into how they feel about the president kind of based on who they pick. I think it has a play.
It could play a role, especially like when you have a 78-year-old candidate as well, potentially a successor. I don't think it would affect my vote if there was like a major gaffe or anything.
Vice presidential debates may not turn the tide. I think they help the base because they see their candidate up there, but you still got to be careful.
Don't believe it? Just ask Dan Quayle.
Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
That line in debate just ended it right there.
So whether or not people decide to tune in Tuesday night, they will have to turn in their ballots soon. And for these candidates, every second of airtime counts.
I definitely think people should watch it. It's good to be engaged, especially in a state like Wisconsin. We all got to vote.
Reporting in Madison, Braden Ross, News 3 Now.
And you can catch the vice presidential debate tomorrow night starting at 8 right here on WISC-TV 3. Well, the race for Wisconsin continues as former President Trump will be making a stop in Dane County tomorrow. Not only is this the first time former President Trump has campaigned in Dane County, but it is the first time any GOP presidential candidate has campaigned in Dane County since 1996. And despite being a blue stronghold in elections, Dane County draws the third most Republican votes of any county in the state. And with Dane County's fast growth, the former president and his campaign are looking to pull in low propensity voters.
Waunakee a spot that's tailor-made for his message, especially again on the economy, on the working class, and getting a lot of these lower propensity voters out. So we hope that President Trump's visit is the catalyst for more in the last month of this election.
Former President Trump is scheduled to speak at Dane Manufacturing tomorrow at 1:30 before heading over to Milwaukee, and we'll have team coverage of the visit. And second gentleman Doug Emhoff will also be in Milwaukee tomorrow. It is not clear exactly where he'll be campaigning or what time. We do know, based on the Harris-Walz campaign email, that Emhoff plans to talk about the vice president's plans to create a, quote, opportunity economy. Vice President Harris has a separate Wisconsin trip booked for Thursday in the Fox Valley. A cool down on the way, but only for a bit. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Montesano for how low our temperatures might get. Jacob?
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon will feel a lot different from this afternoon, although the temperatures tomorrow will actually be much closer to normal than what they were today. So let's take a look at the current temperatures right now, mostly in the 60s, a few areas in the lower 70s, including Madison. But for the most part, the temperatures you're seeing right now will actually be warmer than the temperatures you'll see at the peak time for tomorrow. So it's definitely going to be noticeably cooler, especially compared to the highs earlier, which were in the lower 80s. Now, we also are going to see some breezy conditions, but wind speeds right now, not too bad, mostly looking at calm winds at most around 8 to 10 miles per hour at this hour. But if we take a look at the forecast overnight, we'll see that cold front moving through. Could bring some very light rain, but a lot of our area will likely not see any rain at all. And if it does rain, it will be very brief and in the middle of the night as well. We'll see fairly clear skies by tomorrow morning. And then we're going to see temperatures not rising all that much. They're not necessarily going to fall that much tonight because lows are going to be in the 50s, but highs tomorrow we're looking at 60s. So I'll talk more in detail about that and also show you how windy it could get coming up a bit later.
Jacob, thank you. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections agrees to provide more help to hearing impaired inmates. The move is part of a settlement after federal investigators probed complaints from multiple correctional facilities across the state. Now, hearing impaired inmates must be provided with sign language interpreters, video telephones, and hearing aids when necessary. The department must also pay 3 inmates $15,000 for grievances they faced. Preliminary data shows crime in the U.S. dropped during the first 6 months of the year. That's according to the FBI. Murders dropped 23%. Reported rapes decreased by 18%. Violent crime fell 10% when compared to the same period last year. Aggravated assaults, robberies, and reported property crime also went down in that time period. Important to note, the Bureau relies on data voluntarily submitted by policing agencies across the country, and thousands of agencies did not submit any information. The preliminary data comes weeks after the FBI released a report showing the crime rate was down last year. A new study reveals why people shoplift. For years, the National Association of Shoplifting Prevention placed the number of shoplifters in America as 1 in 11. But a recent study by LendingTree put that figure much higher, closer to 1 in 5. One senior economist says inflation may be to blame for the rise in shoplifting.
What are they giving the reasons for why they shoplift?
90% of recent shoplifters, for example, say that they do it because of inflation. So in other words, people are basically saying, look, I'm only stealing because it's really, really hard out here.
Now, according to LendingTree, 68% of Americans who admitted to shoplifting said they hadn't done so in more than 5 years. Thousands of Verizon users were without cell phone service after a widespread outage. This morning, more than 104,000 users across the U.S. reported having little or no service. According to Down Detector, the outage impacted a large portion of the Midwest, along with several major cities, including Atlanta, Denver, Los Angeles, and New York City. Many users said their cell phones were intermittently displaying SOS mode, leaving them unable to place calls or send or receive any text messages. Verizon, by the way, has about 114 million wireless subscribers in the United States. Well, tens of thousands of dock workers who run shipping ports along the East and Gulf Coast could walk off the job as early as midnight, disrupting the national supply chain. Labor negotiations between the Longshoremen's Association Union and the U.S. Maritime Alliance remain at a standstill. Union members are demanding significantly higher wages and a total ban on the automation of cranes, gates, and moving containers in their new contract. New York Governor Kathy Hochul discussed strike preparations today.
It's all about being prepared, and I want to reassure everybody we have been taking countless precautionary steps to speed up the process of unloading these ships and deal with the cargo containers in advance of this. The food supply is secure right now, and we'll certainly be communicating with the public as this unfolds if it takes any length of time.
And President Biden has indicated he will not intervene in any strike, saying resolving the dispute is a matter of collective bargaining. Former President Jimmy Carter set to make history. Tomorrow, Carter turns 100 years old. He will become the first president in U.S. history to hit the centennial mark. Military jets will fly over his hometown of Plains, Georgia to celebrate, and a naturalization ceremony and concert will also be part of the occasion. According to family members, Carter's birthday wish is to vote in the presidential election. Well, if you feel like you're constantly living through political history, welcome to Wisconsin. We visited the State Historical Society to get a closer look at how local historians are keeping up with this year's election cycle. The society has been highlighting our state's history since the mid-1800s and currently hosts almost 300 million artifacts. This year, a cheese head worn at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee was added to the political archives, finding space among a Richard Nixon bucket hat and a Clinton for President button.
So when we collect, we are looking for things that really tell the story of a particular moment. We want to look for items that are capturing the moment as it's happening and are really iconic in this particular time. It makes an event real in a way that it may not be if you're just reading about it in a textbook.
Organizers say when it comes to political history, staff focuses on preserving both sides, meaning for every RNC cheesehead collected, a Kamala Barbie t-shirt goes with it. You can check out the Society's Wisconsin Political History Gallery online. We have a link at channel3000.com. A local event looks to empower fathers and promote positive parenting practices. Next Friday, Monona Terrace will be hosting the Fathers in Focus Conference. The meeting is a response to a published fatherhood statewide needs assessment. That survey found fathers feel there are barriers to them entering certain parental roles, and many dads are unable to overcome the expectation of being their family's financial provider. Organizers say fatherhood is about a lot more than just being tough.
You can be competitive. You can be the star quarterback. You can run over somebody on the field. You can throw the hardest. You can swim the hardest. But there's also a nurturing side of you, a softer side where you're able to love, care, provide care, and be concerned about somebody else. If we can provide space for that for boys, then we have men who are growing into these spaces wanting to do that kind of work.
The Fathers in Focus Conference will be held from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October 11th at Monona Terrace. Still ahead on News 3 Now at 10, Jacob gives us a look at the warm-up later in the week, plus dire conditions in North Carolina, the ongoing emergency after Hurricane Helene swept through the region.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
It's a great time to have RG Heating and Air Conditioning check your home's furnace system for safety and efficiency. RG services all brands and installs quality Trane equipment to keep your home running smooth year-round. Call RG Heating and AC today.
This is Ford Truck Month, with big offers on the trucks that don't subscribe to the word impossible. Like the off-road ready Ranger, the adaptable Maverick, plus F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, featuring the 2024 Ford F-150, and Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year, all with offers that make owning one possible. This is Ford Truck Month. Choose FlexBuy on F-150 and get 0.9 for 66, plus 2,000 FlexBuy cash, 1,000 low APR cash, plus 1,000 open bonus cash.
I'm a nurse in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Hovde means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
Eric Hovde supported overturning Roe v. Wade, which led to an abortion ban in Wisconsin.
And that's a ban with no exceptions for rape or incest.
What Hovde supports criminalizes abortion and doctors like me.
We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Get an 11% rebate on everything in Menards. Be prepared for the unexpected with Generac home standby generators. Their advanced technology starts within seconds of sensing a power loss. Save over $600 on this standby generator after rebate. Master Force has everything you need to clean up your yard. This cordless leaf blower has up to 30 minutes of runtime with a fully charged battery. Get an 80-volt cordless leaf blower for $214.99 after an 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
China Lights is back this fall at Berner Botanical Gardens in Milwaukee. The Year of the Dragon has over 40 lanterns, an event for the whole family. Come see what thousands of visitors have raved about. China Lights opens September 13th and runs through October 27th. Buy your tickets now.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Madison residents will have big choices to make in November over the future of our schools.
We're talking about investing into our kids and into each other.
I'm breaking down the Madison school referendum questions, what they could mean for the district, and your tax bill. 3 for the People, Tuesday at 10.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Well, Helene has killed more than 120 people now across 6 states, and 600 are still missing. Today, the president's Homeland Security advisor said the death toll could climb dramatically. The highest death toll is in North Carolina, hundreds of miles from landfall, where the emergency is still unfolding tonight. Skylar Henry is just outside Asheville with more.
The Southeast is suffering. Days after Hurricane Helene's hit, nowhere appears to be hit harder than western North Carolina, where some areas received more than 2 feet of rain. Roughly 600 people are still unaccounted for.
But this is just, it's hard to understand. I mean, this is just massive. This will take years to clean up if it's ever.
The city of Asheville and the area around it has been largely cut off since Friday. Cell service is mostly out. Electricity won't be restored for days, and help has been slow to arrive.
We've got a lot of family businesses that have been here since the turn of the century. They're devastated, and they're just trying to salvage anything that they can get.
10 miles east, the tiny mountain town of Swannanoa is named for the river that runs through it, the same river that washed it away.
And this town is devastated, but everybody focuses on big cities, not here. And we need help. We need food. And I know people are coming. I know they're coming, and I know God's got control. It really hurts to see such devastation.
Anita Crowder's husband had to use a chainsaw to get into her family's home. Her father died a week ago, and now they say the flood took what little they had left.
I can't imagine that it must be tough.
It is, to see everything he worked so hard for destroyed.
Yeah.
It's hard. These people worked hard for what they've got, and it breaks your heart.
President Biden says he will visit North Carolina on Wednesday. He added that the region will get whatever it needs for as long as it takes to recover. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Swannanoa, North Carolina.
And tomorrow is the start of October, and for some, 31 days of sobriety. It is fall, so you may be focused on things like football and Halloween, but doctors recommend zeroing in on your health. Experts say alcohol has a significant impact on microorganisms in a drinker's gut. Having unbalanced levels can lead to inflammation and unhealthy gut lining, which can cause other health issues.
Anxiety, depression, fatigue, weakness. So a lot of these symptoms are indirectly influenced by the gut. Even low amounts of alcohol increases the risk of cancer.
Now, some experts say temporarily halting drinking alcohol may make a drinker want it more. So those who want to cut back may choose instead to start slowly. Oktoberfest is underway, and revelers in Germany are expected to drink over 2 million gallons of beer. But brewing a cold beer on a warm planet is becoming a challenge. Researchers in Munich are busy breeding special hops. Now, these plants have deeper roots that need less water, making them more resistant to rising temperatures, drought, and disease.
We grew up here more than 7,000 seedlings every year. They are selected out of more than 100,000 small seedlings. The new varieties gives our farmers the chance to have an income and gives our brewer the varieties that they need now and in the future.
So researchers warn that by the year 2050, hop yields could fall by as much as 18% across growing regions in Europe if farmers don't adapt to the changing climate. Temperatures will feel more like fall tomorrow, but then a warm-up will soon follow. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Madison for the dry stretch this week. Jacob.
Thanks, Eric. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. The first one, as you mentioned, much cooler for tomorrow. We also will see some breezy conditions. Wind gusts could be up to 30 miles per hour at times. And for the most part, we only are going to see a small chance of rain here and there. For the most part, we are going to remain dry. So let's take a look at the temperature and cloud cover forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Again, a brief round of some light showers are possible, mostly in the middle of the night. A lot of the area may miss out on the rain entirely. However, the temperatures, even though the cold front will come overnight, they're not going to dramatically fall. Lows tomorrow morning will actually be similar to this morning, but the high temperatures, they're not going to rise all that much. They're going to stay in the 60s. Our entire area expected to see highs somewhere in the 60s. And then as we get into the overnight hours, Tuesday into Wednesday, that's when we're talking about some pretty chilly temperatures, as lows will be dropping into the 40s. Could even see a few isolated 30s around parts of the area. So here's a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Despite the cooler temperatures, we're still going to see plenty of sunshine. Highs in the 60s, a few clouds here and there, especially later in the day. But overall, you know, if you like the cooler weather, it's going to be a very nice day, but it will be pretty windy. So here's a look at that wind gust forecast. The strongest winds will be in the morning, where we could see those gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Still a little bit breezy in the afternoon, but it does look like it will improve throughout the day. See wind gusts around 20 miles per hour for Tuesday afternoon. Calming overnight Tuesday, but then as we get into Wednesday, we could see another round of some gusty winds, this time especially north of Madison, where once again wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour are possible. Now, the only real rain chance this week, beyond that small chance of rain tonight, will be Thursday night into Friday. Here's a look at that forecast. This is Friday at 1 a.m. We'll see some light rain kind of form in far southern Wisconsin, but only briefly impact our area. And again, it will mostly be during the overnight hours, and it will clear out pretty quickly by Friday in the late morning and afternoon. So total precipitation for the rest of this week will be minimal. We're only going to see about 1/10 of an inch at most. Overall, it is going to remain very dry. We would like to see a little bit more rain considering the drought situation we are under, but the drought monitor aside, it's going to be a very nice 7 to 10 days. A little chilly during those morning hours, but afternoon hours will be in the upper 60s, lower 70s with plenty of sunshine. It will definitely feel a little bit more like fall. While tomorrow the temperatures will be near normal, they're still going to be above normal despite them being in the lower 70s. And, it will feel still, like it is in the fall for the most part, but temperatures are going to remain just slightly above that normal level, which at this time of year is in the middle 60s. So again, kind of fluctuating between the lower 70s, upper 60s through the early portion of next week. But again, we are staying dry, and there's not really a big end in sight to the dry pattern. Expect dry conditions to continue even through the middle of October.
And still to come in sports, the MLB playoffs are set. Who the Crew match up with in the wild card round. Plus, baseball loses a legend. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hubdy is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hubdy's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hubdy took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hubdy.
At Spectrum, we believe every day unlocks a new door to unlimited possibilities. Possibilities to bring you closer to the people and the places you love. Spectrum transforms your gaming experience into a galaxy of adventures with the fastest and most reliable internet. Connect to unlimited possibilities when you switch to Spectrum Internet Premier for only $30 per month when bundled, and save with our 3-year price guarantee and no contracts. Call 1-844-653-6824. With the fastest, most reliable internet, you're always front row to the entertainment you love, no matter where you are. And with advanced Wi-Fi to keep you safe and secure online, you can focus on what matters the most. Spectrum Internet doesn't just power your home. It puts streaming, live TV, sports, and popular apps all at your fingertips. Get incredible savings when you switch to Spectrum Internet Premier for just $30 a month with a 3-year price guarantee. That's our promise to you. Call 1-844-653-6824.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need, because they're a part of them, because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet this year, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
The slate is set. The MLB playoffs start tomorrow, and the Brewers will be hosting the New York Mets in the wild card round. It is a 3-game series that starts tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. at AmFam. The entire series will be in Milwaukee. If needed, it could go as long as 3 games. The Brewers will put their ace, Freddie Peralta, on the mound for Game 1. Milwaukee played the Mets twice this year in their first and last series of the season. They beat them in 5 of the 6 games. Well, in much worse news, the baseball world lost a legend today. MLB's all-time leader in hits, at-bats, and games played, Pete Rose, has died at 83 years old. Rose never made it into baseball's Hall of Fame. The 17-time All-Star and one-time MVP received baseball's lifetime ban for gambling on his own games. Nonetheless, he will certainly go down as one of the best to ever do it. It was a roller coaster weekend in sports for the state of Wisconsin. Let's start with the Badgers. After taking a 21-10 lead into half, USC responded with 28 straight points in the second half. The Badgers showed flashes on both sides of the ball, but started cracking in all phases when the rubber really met the road. Luke Fickell says if this program wants to get where they want to be, they've got to start by being a more complete team.
We keep talking about these winning habits. Well, the winning habits as a team is to be able to play complementary football, is to be able to play in all 3 phases. And all 3 phases have got to be able to contribute to winning. We're just not to the point right now where if we're not playing well defensively, well, it's okay because our offense is going to go out there and outscore them. If we're not playing well offensively, that's okay. Our defense will go out there and we'll shut them out. We're just not to that point.
And on the other end of the roller coaster, it was the exact opposite for the Packers. The Vikings came into Lambeau and started the game by scoring 28 straight. It was Green Bay in this game who made the near-killer comeback, but unlike USC, the Packers, they fell short of what would have been their biggest comeback in franchise history.
I'm super proud of our guys' effort. Like, that is one thing. These guys battled. It's interesting when you're down 28-0, like how you're going to respond. And I think you saw the character of our locker room today. You know, we just got to clean some stuff up and take advantage of some opportunities that we didn't.
Believe it or not, today was already media day for the Milwaukee Bucks. And Damian Lillard, he started it by reflecting on last season. He said it was a blur getting traded 2 days before training camp, calling last season an incredibly hard time in his life. He said it felt like, rather than playing, he felt like he was just trying to get through the year. The superstar did struggle for his standards in his first year with the Bucks, but says he feels primed to bounce back.
But I just feel way, way better coming into this year. You know, even leaving home and leaving my kids and coming back to Milwaukee, it was just easier for me this time, I think, because I just being able to prepare for everything to come and also knowing that I'm right going into it. You know, it was just way, way easier. You know, I feel much better coming into it.
And we will be right back.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
Stanton Optical believes eye care should be affordable. Right now, for only $135, you get 2 pairs of progressives, plus all this. All that costs over $200 everywhere else. Book your eye exam today. Stanton Optical, easy's our thing. Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, a free eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime?
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member,
Ramos was arrested for a gun crime, but as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If you're looking for a new fence or deck, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. You'll get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off the installation or 60-month no-interest financing on your fence or deck. Scan the code to see if you qualify.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals, and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border and save America. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Joan Baldwin wants to ban abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, and when the mother's life is at risk.
And would jail doctors who perform them.
Baldwin voted to ban birth control, too, and to deny rape victims emergency contraception.
Banning all abortions and birth control? No one wants to tell you what to do with your body
more than Joan Baldwin.
But she can't tell you what to do with your vote.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
Donate kids' winter coats at Clinky Cleaners during Coats for Kids.
Quick final check with Jacob.
Yeah, pretty quiet going forward. We'll see a drop in temperatures tomorrow, and then they'll kind of fluctuate between the lower 70s, upper 60s, but staying dry.
All right, Jacob, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10. Have a great night.